Crusher!
He's trying to guide believers to what he truly thinks is right. He's reading from a manuscript of scientific lore. Throw away the rest, but you don't need it anymore. Tree for sure, the Lord of non-belief. If he can't prove it, no one can get ready for the brief. A dead day is skeptic, we all know what that means. He's lurking in the shadows and crushing all your dreams. Going to land. Don't believe in cryptids that leave footprints in the sand. Don't believe in spirits appearing from the dead. The only demons out there are living in your head. Dream crusher, the Lord of non-belief. If you can't prove it, no one can get ready for the brief. A dedicated skeptic, we all know what that means. He's lurking in the shadows and crushing all your dreams. Dream crusher, the Lord of non-belief. If you can't prove it, no one can get ready for the brief. A dedicated skeptic, we all know what that means.
Hello, everybody. It's Friday night. Oh, I'm so excited. Even though Donna is not here, because as you see, we have a TARDIS, and that means Tim's in the background. Tim's back there somewhere. And I know he's still in the room, so he can talk if he wants to. Anyway, so we do have guests tonight, but I do want to go over some things. I want to first, I want to say hi to a bunch of people. We got Wisdom in the house, Kit Ford, Jade Kitten, Sky Talker, Sky. We got Firefly Kelly, Ghost Wiener. We got Little Miss Mayhem, Pinky. Oh my goodness, Glenda Watt. We got Rawside Paranormal, Pam Spencer, Mysteries Untold by Michael Burkeen. Blast Rights is in the house. We got Wandering Wenchy. We got that Kenny Biddle guy is sneaking in there. I see his comments. Who else? We got a bunch of more people in here. Cat Mac, it's date night. And Silent Cow. I know that guy. Malachi. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. All right. A bunch more people. Panda Kaizen. Oh, I always screw up the name. I'm going to call you Panda from now on. Just Panda. I'm shortening your name. All right. And we got who else? It's going back. It's jumping around. So I'm going to jump over to the rules. I redid the rules here. So let me see. I redid the rules. Boom. I put them on that side now. They're over here. And I added Tim's thing. I did a whole version of all my frames for Tim because he's in here so much. So rule number 1 is that I encourage you to ask questions. That's what this show is about. It's a learning show. So you ask questions, whether we have guests or it's just me, we all learn together. So I'm always going to be encouraging questions. Rule number 2 is that we don't know everything. And I made sure I changed it to we because I don't know everything. Donna doesn't know everything. And then sometimes the guests don't know the answers to your questions. So just keep that in mind when you're putting the questions in the chat. Rule number 3 is that we follow the Patrick Swayze rule here, and that's be nice. Or Donna, I should change this too, to Tim. will boot your ass. So you can be in the chat room. You can discuss things. You can have conversations. I encourage that. You can even debate topics. That's cool. Put up your opinions, whatever. Just do not degrade into arguments and name calling. If you get there, we will kick you out. I won't tolerate that. Number 4 is that if you do have a question, please start your question with a capital Q in the chat, because that way it helps Tim, who is in the background, put them in the queue for the second hour tonight, because we do have a guest. And rule number 5 is my favorite one. Drink up, participate, learn, and have fun. I changed it up a little bit. So hopefully you all poured a drink and you're ready to go tonight, because we do have special guests. And I'm going to bring them on right now. Here we go. There we go. We got the Spooky Science Sisters.
Hello. Hi.
Backgrounds. And it's like if you look at them, they're phasing in and out of our dimension, because like part of it's portals. This is great.
Yeah, I know. I can't keep my ear. The camera. It's fine.
It looks like you got a little ectoplasm coming out there.
Yeah, right.
You might need a tissue later. I don't know. So we got Meagan and Paige, and you both published your first book, correct? Your first book.
Yep.
It's right here. The Spooky Science, and it's the Dissecting the Mysteries of Ghosts, Cryptids, Aliens, and Other Oddities. It came out. It's released now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost
June.
3 months to the
Okay.
day. Yeah?
I
No,
knew-
2 months
2
to the
months.
day.
2 months.
I
Okay.
don't know when that is.
It was out. It came out sometime.
It's
It was
fine.
like
Sometime.
a little bit ago. So it came out. I was lucky enough that your publisher reached out and offered an advanced copy, and I jumped on the opportunity. So I got it. I read the whole book because I was very, very interested in it. And I was telling Paige beforehand that for me, when I'm reading books, and I love books, if you can't tell, I like me some books.
Those aren't just for show.
It's actually just wallpaper. They're not real. There are quite a few of those fake books, where you hide stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
But good luck trying to find them, because I forget where I put them. So I went through it, and for me, when I read a book, if I like it, I will push myself to read it as much as possible in one sitting. I will keep myself up at night. I will stay up till like 2 or 3 in the morning, which I usually do anyway, but I'm reading, and I'm like, this is really good. I like this. It's nice. And I will say that about this book before we even get started. It's an easy read. And that doesn't mean that it doesn't explain a lot of stuff. I mean, it's easy to read. So that's important, because when you're putting science to any topic, sometimes it sounds like it's going to be a difficult read. This is not. It's not only an easy to read book, but it's an enjoyable book. And I read through about a little bit more than half the first night. And then, as I was telling Paige, I got distracted by work because they wanted me to do something. So I had to put it aside for a week. And then I went back to it. And I read it all the next day. So in 2 days, I was able to read through it. But then I read. If I don't like a book, and I won't go into all the story, most of the time they go on a flight across the room, because I get so disgusted, I just toss them. So
Yeah.
And there's other things that happen to some of those books. So, but we'll talk about that afterwards. But anyway, this is your show, so I want to talk for people that aren't familiar with you. Can you give us a little introduction of who you are and what you guys do? Your interest in this stuff. Yeah, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I know, because it's been 4 years since we did this the first
know.
time, and we've come a long way since then. Yeah, we were baby podcasters when we were on here last time. Yeah.
Before you go into it, Megan, can I
yeah.
just say the new intro, which I think is new. I don't think it was the same intro 4 years ago.
Right.
Well, yeah, I don't
is
remember the metal song before.
So cool.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much.
And I've definitely tuned in since we were on the show
Yeah.
several times, but I think I'm always a few minutes late, so I haven't seen that version of the intro. It was so fun.
It was It was good. I mean, there was a spurt there where I don't know what happened. I think the song that I was using before suddenly became copyrighted. Well, it was copyrighted, but like it had that license where anyone can use it for any reason. And then all of a sudden they decided, well, I guess too many people were using it, so they wanted to charge. So they were taking the monetization off of me to give it to the artist. So I complained about it. And the next day somebody had created that song for me. And I was like, oh my God, somebody made me a song. And I was so like, this is so freaking awesome. Somebody made me a song. And then
That is awesome.
Then two other people made me songs. So we have a new song for the break that we do, that we've been using for a while now. And then we have an outro song that is also about the show. So it's really cool. I mean, the people that follow the show are just awesome. I mean, I love them. I love coming here Friday nights because it's such a great community and everyone just helps each other out and it's supportive. So, okay. This is your show.
Sorry, it was fun.
I'm glad you brought it up because it was already like I was already out of my head, not thinking about it, and I meant to say something. I've moved on now. Anyway, I'm Megan, and I'm one half of Spooky Science Sisters. So for people who aren't familiar, we started doing the Spooky Science Sisters podcast during COVID lockdown 5 years ago in 2020. And Paige is my sister-in-law. We're both scientists by, I guess, training and trade for our day jobs. And have always been super interested in paranormal stuff since I was a kid. And, you know, I think I was very much an X-Files kid, so that was always my jam. But yeah, very much into the paranormal and listened to a lot of podcasts and found that most of them in that space are like just present stories, whatever, with like very little to no skepticism, and a whole lot of pseudoscience goes into it. And I got it in my head like, hey, I'm super bored right now and at home, and I think I'm going to try and do this and make a podcast about spooky stuff, but from a skeptical perspective. And so since then, like at that point, I wasn't super familiar with, you know, the other ones that are out there and Kenny and all that. But I think you came up like within our first, by episode 2 for sure. Yeah. Like you were featured as a source in the podcast, if not episode 1. But yeah,
we fangirled so hard the first time we met. We got to have Kenny on the show. We're like, oh Star.
Because we like used you as a source, and we, you know, you had like the show and the YouTube and all this stuff, and I was like, oh my God, like this is so serious. I can't believe this is happening.
Somebody, I'm trying to remember, but I think somebody mentioned to me, and they said, hey, you know, check out this podcast. They just said your name. And I was like, oh, okay. And you know what? When you hear that, you always expect the worst. Like, oh, they hate me. Okay. So I listened to it. I was like, oh, they used me as a reference. Oh, that's so cool. And I think I commented on it.
Yeah.
And just said, you know, thanks for using me for a reference. Because, you know, like when people do that, I appreciate it because it shows like, you know, something I did was worth somebody else mentioning. So it was really cool. So I'm glad you did that and we got to meet and now look at us. We're hanging out.
I know.
Twice, I think, right?
What?
I think I've been on your show twice.
Mm-hmm. If I think so, not 3 times.
3? Was it 3?
I think 3. Because it was 2 sort of early on, and then you were just on an episode like 6 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, long story short, you know, we were fortunate enough to get folded in with Kenny and get to know like Karen on Monster Talk and everything, and sort of become part of this like skeptical content creating community. Right. And yeah, I think the podcast, and then when I started posting videos on like TikTok and Instagram and all the various places, like everything just sort of went way further than we ever expected it to go. And now here we are 5 years later and still doing the podcast and back here, and we got to publish a book, which is bananas. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. And Paige, did you join in? Hey, like, I hear you're doing this thing. I want to be part of it.
No, so when Meagan sort of made the decision to do the podcast, she wanted a co-host, and her and I always like really connected because of our love of Halloween and sort of the spookier things in life. So she thought of me when she decided to get this started, and I can't say no to anything. I have like a debilitating FOMO, or fear of missing out. So she asked me, and I was like, yeah, I don't really know that I ever saw myself as a podcaster, but like, what if it's fun and I don't do it, So
So one, I admittedly like knew. I was like, Paige is definitely going to say yes to this. She literally could not say no to this idea without it haunting her forever. But B, though, as Paige is the one who like really got me listening to podcasts like a few years before that. So when I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I know Paige really likes podcasts and also Halloween, so like, let's go.
Let's do it.
And like, I also always like to mention that pretty much the exact same thing happened with the book. Like, Meagan was pretty much like all about it right from the beginning, and I wasn't. I had initially said no, and then eventually was like, okay, but like, what if I don't do it? And it's fun. So here we are.
Yeah. But there's a lot of things though. Paige has been like, oh, well, I'm never gonna do like live podcasting stuff, or I'm never gonna like be on video or anything like that. I've just totally ruined her life. So it's fine.
But you're enjoying it though. And you know what? Yeah. When I listen to the podcast, it's enjoyable. It's not somebody, it's just lecturing at me. It's two people that are having fun, and you giggle so much through it, and it's fun. It makes me laugh. I'm in the car listening, and it makes me laugh that you're giggling so much. And I'm talking to you. Do you do that? Like, I talk to you even though you're just on the podcast. Like I hear Meagan go, oh, this and that, and Paige, what do you think of that? And I'm going, well, I can tell you what I think. I'm not on the show. Oh, all right.
I'm positive you'd have like much more insightful things to say about most of these topics than we ever would.
Oh no, I mean you ladies did great. I mean, so the book, like what sparked that? What sparked that idea?
Listen, things just sort of happened to us at this point, I think. That's been this whole ride, is like just absurd amounts of, I feel like, very fortunate luck and just like meeting the right people, like coming in contact with the right people. Because I never would have been like, yeah, I can definitely write a book about this. But we had a listener who worked for Quarto, our publisher, and as an editor, and she sent us an email in October of 2023, right? Yes.
Yeah, it's been a year since we wrote it, which is crazy. But yeah, it was that October. And like, we thought it was a spam.
Yeah. I seriously, like, I am positive that the first email that she sent us, I just sent it directly to the trash in my inbox, because I was like, this is BS. Like, this is not a real email. I'm going to email back, and they're going to be like, oh, if you pay us $10,000, we'll publish your manuscript.
Right.
Because there's like all sorts of like, pay to publish schemes out there. And then it was my husband, Steve, who was like, maybe you should just like Google this person's name and see if they actually work where they say they work. And we did. And I was like, oh no, this is actually for real. And by that point, she had sent a second follow-up email, maybe like a week later, and which like also should have tipped me off, because I was like, oh, they sent like a real follow-up, whatever. Anyway, so she basically pitched the idea to us based on the show, and then we worked with the editing team there to get together an outline and come up with all these topics and kind of workshop things as we were writing, and it all went really fast. And less than a year later, we'd like turned it all in, and now here we are just under 2 years later, and like it's published and done. So
Wow. And it looks great. I mean, it really does.
Yeah. If I do say so myself. I mean, I had nothing to do with its design, really. Because
we love the way it looks, but we didn't really get to like choose any of it.
yeah, we gave them some like inspiration, like photos of stuff,
Right.
of things that we liked and styles that we liked and everything. But they sort of ran with it and came up with this whole sort of like old spooky textbook kind of aesthetic that it has. So
it's got, I don't know if you can see it.
Embossed.
You probably can't. It's embossed. Yeah. It's kind of raised, and the spooky green color. I mean, that's perfect spooky kind of color. And yeah, because as soon as I opened it, I was like, oh, ooh.
There's video of us as well. Like I have video of us open, because I was like, we gotta like capture this moment or whatever.
Right.
Opening the first copy and being like, oh my God.
My wife's looking at me like, she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's raised up. You can feel it. You can feel
We
the
didn't
back.
know it was
It's
going to
really
be
cool.
hardcover. For
What?
like a really long time, we didn't know it was going to be hardcover. And when we found that out, we were like very excited. We're like, wow, this is so fancy.
Yeah. Which, thinking back on, like, we should have asked somebody. Like we should have known that our book was going to come out in hardcover or like anything else. But I don't know. I would say it's like the publishing processing or the publishing process. I can't talk. Is still I've done it, and like now it's still sort of a mystery to me. So
Right.
it's fine.
So the content of the book, I mean, you have, I read through it, and it's broken down into two main parts. And the two main parts are ghosts and then pretty much other.
Yeah. Yeah.
I read it. I'm like, there's only really 2 chapters. Okay. And I'm like, ghosts. Oh, there's other, like monsters, cryptids. Oh, okay. Everything else, that's cool. And then I started reading through it, and that's how you broke it down. You have an introduction, you have some history, and like the history of ghosts. But the first bulk of, well, actually, the first part that I love, because preach it, sisters. I mean, when I saw a note about the scientific method and the paranormal, I was like, all right, I'm gonna read this shit. I'm gonna let's see what wait, click. Let's see what is on here. Because I usually sit there and I write notes in my books. If there's no notes, that's a good sign. You should see, if you ever get to visit here in Buffalo and you come visit, I'll give you a tour. I give you a tour of the center, but I have to show you the box over here. And it's a box that's labeled Kenny's most hated books of all time. And it's just several paranormal books in there. The one I told you about, Paige, is in there. But they're all in there, and they have notes all over them. And do you know Melanie Teresa King?
The name is familiar, yes.
She's spoken at some of the SciCon events. She's a biologist. She's come and visit several times. She's a good friend of mine. And she will sit here and just pick a book out of that box and start going through it. Not reading the book, but reading all my notes.
Yeah.
F-bombs. So I'm gonna read just the few lines out of here, but it says one of the most important characteristics of science is that it isn't a set of facts or a thing to be believed or held up as absolute truth. Science is better thought of as a method or a tool for learning about the world. Paranormal investigators, on the other hand, often fall into the realm of pseudoscience or false science, meaning that they look or pretend to be scientific from the outside, but are fundamentally incompatible with the principles laid out by the scientific method. Mwah. That was beautiful. I love that because that summarizes a lot of the shit that I say.
Yeah, I'm positive that I probably watched videos or read articles from you to like get in my head like, okay, what's the best way to like phrase this in a understandable way. So
Right.
yeah. Well, it makes me really happy to hear that you liked it, because I'm sure Paige can tell you, I like probably the bane of my existence when we were writing was having to write like introductory stuff. And that was sort of a section that the publisher or the editor asked us to put in the book. And I was straight up in tears like while I was writing that section, because I was so like, I have to get this exactly right.
Yep.
Or like the whole thing is shot. So like it was, yeah. So it's been very nice.
Start.
Yeah,
That's
that's like the most important thing going in is like how, why are these things important? How does the paranormal fit into science, whatever. And yeah, it's just been nice to like get feedback that like, oh, that was a good part of the book, because I struggled.
You know what? That shows your dedication to the project.
Yeah.
and that's kudos to you, because you care about what you're doing. And so many times we see like a lot of these books, especially like these shelves right here and over here, these are all paranormal themed books by authors that are total believers and don't put the care into what they write, because they know their audience is going to buy it anyway. And they don't care. They treat like pretty much like Zach Baggins treats his audience. But it shows that you two actually cared about what was being put out. And I can respect that, because it's that beginning section is what sets the stage for the rest of the book. If I read a paragraph that just, said, oh, we do science no matter what, and the gadgets are scientific, so therefore everything's cool, I'd be like, you know what? Gone. I'm not reading this book at all. But it set the stage. So great job. So some of the stuff that's in there, like talk about science. Tell us about the science and the paranormal. How do they go together?
Paige, I've been talking too much. You can take the question.
Megan's like, yeah, I'm not answering this one.
No, I should answer that one because I wrote the
Here's the thing. Megan wrote most of this book.
Yeah, well,
she gets all the questions.
No. Yeah, if anything, I think that should exempt me from the questions. No. Yeah, so I guess a big thing for me is like most of the time science and the paranormal do not go together, and like by that I mean they don't really get along. And so so on one hand, like totally skeptical about all this stuff, like love tearing some of it apart to some extent, and like really getting in there and like breaking down biases and all these things that are going on to make people believe in ghosts or what have you. And also like very much think that some of the pseudoscience-y paranormal stuff content that's out there is just like, this is ridiculous. But I also think that, and like I guess tried to portray in the book, but also sort of had it like cemented for me by writing the book, that I do think that like there are ways for science and the paranormal to be friends with one another, the paranormal community to be friends with one another. I think that there's like this like huge stigma about studying paranormal stuff, or even from a skeptical perspective, I think there's a little bit of a stigma for scientists who want to look into it. So I think that's a barrier that should be broken down, and there's room for everybody. And like, just because I don't think this stuff is real, I do think that paranormal stuff, whether it's monsters or ghosts or various folklore that's out there, is so important culturally to people.
Right.
Like, yeah, like it's like human to believe in all these spooky things and tell scary stories. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
Human nature. It's part of human nature. So
Yeah.
when people do have experiences, that something I've always approached it as is people do have some kind of experience.
Yeah. Yeah,
Whether
exactly.
it's actually paranormal or something that can be explained. We just have to dig further into it. We don't know until we actually dig into it.
Mhm.
So
Well, and something we have found in almost every topic I think we've talked about is those scientific explanations that we lean on are often scarier to us than the
Yeah.
paranormal thing we're discussing. Like the things that your brain can do, or the things that are in your environment that like make you think you see something, or
Mhm.
all of those things tend to be scarier to us than the paranormal
right.
phenomena behind it, I guess.
The for example, I think, did you mention the Carrie Poppy?
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
because it was carbon monoxide poisoning, right?
Yeah.
that she had,
Yeah.
and that turned into, like, she felt this presence in her apartment, and thought there was something there, or in her house, and thought it was haunted, and she finally had it checked because somebody mentioned to, I forget the details of it, but she had it checked, and the local fire department came out and found out that she had a leak in the house, and that she was, if she had gone like another night or two, she probably would have died in the house. But the symptoms leading up to that were hallucinations. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's a good example showing that there are dangerous things that actually do happen that we need to investigate. And it's funny, like, because this is my job, and my former boss, who recently retired, he was always sketchy about me being friends with so many people on the other side.
Mhm.
Like, it was like there's supposed to be a wall between us. We're not supposed to be friendly or something. And I mean, most of my good friends are on that side. They have the beliefs in ghosts, or even some of the people that I am pretty good friends with claim to be psychic, even though they won't let me test them. But I mean, it's okay. I think it's okay to
Yeah.
be able to
Yeah.
be friends and actually talk about that, because it's important. Agree?
Well, and we're not interested in telling people they can't believe in things or that they shouldn't believe in things. Like Megan said, a lot of these things have a strong cultural importance, but a lot of them are also personally very important to people. So we're not here to stomp on that and tell you shouldn't believe. I think we
Yeah.
just want people to like consider other possible explanations.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. I mean, I don't tread on people's beliefs unless they ask.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That sounds still sounds kind of mean, but like, unless you ask me to give my opinion, I'm not going to just like jump on your belief.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if you put it out there on like a lecture or something, then yeah, it's open season. But if you have personal beliefs, I always, you do you, as long as you
Yeah.
don't hurt anyone else.
Yeah.
You have your beliefs. So,
Yeah.
all right. So you go over the scientific method in here, like you give a brief breakdown of it,
Mhm.
which is good. I love it. It actually goes into. I made notes here. You go.
You said notes were bad.
Yeah.
Different notes. Notes on a notebook is okay. Notes in
Okay.
the book.
Okay.
If I put pen to ink in that, which actually I'm not allowed to anymore. Do you know about these? I'm going to show you, because our librarian here absolutely freaked out on me. So, obscure reference man, if you're in the chat, he yelled at me for writing in my books. So he recommended that I get these things, which are
Oh.
Aren't they just
Little
Post-it
tabbies.
notes?
translucent.
Oh.
So these are all translucent. What What did you say?
I said, aren't those just Post-it notes?
Paige thinks that you think we don't know about Post-it notes.
I know about there are Post-it notes, but they're translucent.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's awesome.
So I use those. So if you see these in your book, then we need to talk. Not really. It doesn't matter. I'm not the end all. But no.
After this,
right.
I'm gonna like get the after we're done, I'll be like, all right, give me the hard stuff. That wasn't right.
Oh, hey now. Whoa. I think we need an adult. All right. So you went over, let's see, 2 parts: scientific method, make observations, form a hypothesis, experiment, draw conclusions, do it again. Love that. Then you kind of go into the power of suggestion. So can you talk about that a little bit? Like what kind of impact do you think the power of suggestion can have on people?
Paige, you gotta answer this one.
Like, I love that you were like, oh, I should talk about the parts I write, and then you're like, oh, I write all the parts, so now I don't have to. Sorry, I'm trying to follow along with you here in the book, and I thought I was like right behind you, but now I've somehow.
Oh, now that I know that, I'm gonna skip around.
Page 37, Paige. Slash page 33.
33.
33.
Yeah, that's like where that section starts.
Oh.
What do I have?
It's fine.
Let's
anyway
see where we are. Can I make a suggestion?
Yep.
There you go. 37.
Oh, yeah, the name of the section. I thought you were going to make a suggestion. Yeah, so I guess like basically with the power of suggestion, it's, you know, if somebody makes a suggestion that a place is haunted, you are more likely to see something, you are more likely to hear something that you would then identify or suggest as a haunting, right? So if you hear something you maybe would have heard yesterday and didn't think was a ghost, well, now you're here, you hear something, you're going to like
right
think it's a ghost because somebody suggested it was haunted.
There's the idea, the overall idea that this house is haunted. It's got stories about it. So if you go in there and you hear a creak, that's a ghost.
Yeah.
But if you heard it 2 days prior to that in your own house, you'd be like, oh, well, it's getting dark out. It's getting colder. It's just, you know, the temperature change. That's all it is.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It just primes you to believe that things are paranormal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And well, yeah. And so like basically every, you know, like public ghost hunt or ghost walk or whatever that you go on, like anything that happens, like as soon as the guide tells you like, oh, we're going to go to this super haunted place, anything that happens after that, like you're just more likely to interpret it as something paranormal that you, yeah, like Paige said, might not have done so otherwise.
Or when they say like, take a picture at this spot, or can you, I think one that we were in a tour that we were on once was like in the middle of like downtown New Orleans. And they were like, if you smell sulfur, then you're probably around a ghost. And it's like,
that is the sewer, my guy.
That's just the smell of New Orleans. Like, and I love that city, but
I was just gonna say, like, did you look down and see the sewer?
Right.
Yeah. And I think another one was like he like said an alleyway. He's like people like take pictures there and like they get orbs in it all the time. And I was like, yeah, because it's a dusty alleyway, dude. Yeah, so it's just super easy to prime people, and it's also like if you think about trying to do any sort of investigation of a haunted place, like it's, if you're thinking about it from a scientific perspective, like it's sort of like a like you have to try and control for that somehow, or like you have to be very aware of that to like make sure that you're not just like tricking yourself into believing that there's something going on when there's really not. So Yeah. And the other thing I like about that is that there were like official psychology studies that they did where they like sent different groups of people into creepy spaces and like told one half of them like, oh, the place is just being renovated, that's why, you know, it looks so terrible, whatever, and told the other half like, oh, there's been reports of ghosts around here. And it's like the group of people that got told that there were a bunch of ghosts, like they had a ton of quote unquote paranormal experiences, but the other group was like, okay, this was cool, I guess.
Right.
So yeah, it's
Okay.
it's neat. And I think I think one of the people that we definitely cited for the book, but yeah, or no, we talked about him in the book, but Chris French says that like the two most important things when it comes to the paranormal is belief and the power of suggestion. So like just by believing and somebody telling you that a place is haunted, like then
Right.
you know it's going to be for you.
When you
go ahead.
I was gonna say, when you ghost hunt, or when you still do paranormal investigation. Sorry,
Yes.
totally lost what I was saying there.
It's okay. You all have green cards. Don't worry about it. It happens to all of us.
Do you go with a group of like only other skeptics, or do you go with a group that's like a mixture of skeptics and believers?
That's a good question. So it usually is, the setup is usually that I'm the token skeptic. I'm the only one that is, I guess, the more skeptical person. And again, I want everyone to understand, like, that doesn't mean I disbelieve everything. It just means I'm usually the one that asks a lot of questions and gets to the truth of the matter. So yes, to answer your question, most of the time I am the only one there that will present as a skeptical approach. Occasionally there are people that are more leaning towards my side, our side. And it's actually refreshing, because the last couple investigations that I went on, there were people there that were more on my side. So we did discuss things. We did discuss experiences that went on, and even prior experiences that they themselves had in that location. And we worked out possible solutions for it. And it was more accepted. So it was actually refreshing to go through that. But on the other side of that coin, I do tag along when I can on those pay to play kind of things, where it's like a ghost hunting team is sponsoring a event, come out and ghost hunt with us. And I am the only one. I don't announce it. I don't come in. I don't wear a shirt that says I'm the skeptic, don't talk to me. Actually, I did have a hoodie that said skeptic, but I don't wear that anymore. But I usually go in just to observe and to see what they're doing.
Sure.
So does that answer your question?
Yeah. I guess I was wondering, like, if you were going with groups that were pretty split, like what the differences and how people interpreted the same event.
It really, you know what? It's fascinating, because you probably would predict this. It depends on whether if I don't say anything and I just go along and I'm like incognito, they usually interpret things definitely more on a belief-based approach, where it's compared to their preconceived beliefs of the place is haunted, that any anomaly in a photograph or on an audio recording is indeed a ghost rather than just an anomaly, and they don't bother to figure out what's going on. It's just accepted at face value.
Sure.
However, if somebody recognizes me or knows me and they're like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, well, I tell them what I do. I don't lie. I don't, if they ask, I tell them exactly what I do. Now that they know there's a skeptical person in the room, then they're like, well, it could be this, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't commit to that because, we don't have enough evidence. Maybe we'll just wait and see. So there is a difference whether they know someone is more skeptical in the room or not. And it's really interesting, because if you don't have that, and I feel weird saying it, but if you don't have that kind of beacon in the room, like that little light that's going, skeptic, then the belief kind of runs rampant.
Mhm.
Sure.
There's no checks or balances. There's no one to say, hey, wait a minute. What about this? What about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Occasionally it does. I don't want to sound like it's all belief, but occasionally there are questions, but I don't think it's as persistent as if they know someone is there that is more skeptical in their approach.
Yeah.
That was a
sense.
good question. I like that. You should do a podcast.
Crazy.
Right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that not long after we finished the book, I sent Paige a text message and like told a couple other people that I mean, writing it just honestly made me, and getting to like get even deeper into stories that we've talked about on the podcast and all this stuff, like it just made me more skeptical than I was before. Just getting to spend that amount of time on it. And I think I texted Paige, I was like, at this point, because of this book and like all the weird stuff that can happen to like trick your brain into thinking that you've seen a ghost or seen whatever, I was like, a ghost could literally appear in front of my face and punch me in the face. And I'd be like, I don't know if that really just happened. Like, what's going on here?
If that happened to me, the first thing I would look, how much?
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, what did I eat or drink today?
I've always said, if a ghost appears in front of me and I really, really want that to happen.
Exactly.
If one does, my first action is poke. I want to see if it's squishy.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I just envision a ghost.
Like a
Because
Pillsbury Doughboy.
like a cross between the Pillsbury Doughboy and Casper from the Casper movie.
Yeah.
Because they were like the fuzzy, but they look squishy.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping that it's.
Well, now that's what I'm gonna do too.
Yeah, I know. Like now you've just given me the thing that's going to happen. That is a thing though. I feel like as a skeptic for any of these things, you've got to have like exactly in your head,
Right.
here's exactly what I'm going to do the second this happens, because like otherwise you're just going to get super overwhelmed by emotions or whatever.
Right.
as
right.
it's happening. So yeah. So I got to start like repeating in my head, like, what do you do? The very first thing.
Okay.
First thing you do, see a
Okay.
ghost. It's right in front of you. It's staring at you. What do? You have 3 seconds. Because, by the time you blink, it's going to disappear. So
Yeah.
you only have about 3 to 5 seconds to do something. And that's what I'm
poke it.
doing.
Yeah. Well, it's better than what some people say about Bigfoot, and because they're like, a lot of people when they say like, oh, I see Bigfoot, it's like, well, I'm gonna kill it. So,
I know. I am so against that.
yeah, you're
I
on
am
team don't.
All for scientific inquiry and progress, but I'm not going to actively try to kill a living beast if it's living, which I don't think it is. But I'm not going to actively try to kill something just to prove that it exists.
Yeah.
I mean, we have cameras.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
what all the people who've had the famous initial sightings say, though. They're like, oh, I
Yeah.
just couldn't kill it. And it's like, yeah, okay.
We've had this conversation before, but I don't remember what you said, Megan. Like, what would
What?
you do?
Oh, whether or not I would kill it. See, it's tough because I feel like in this day and age, like with AI video and stuff getting so good, like I kind of think like, oh, I'd probably, to really believe, like I'd have to have somebody bring me a corpse out of the woods, but but also I don't think that I could kill anything or that I would want to, especially if
I think
like
I would
we're
try to
thinking
like
about this-
tranquilize it.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah, here I am, like just murder is the only
Just
option.
murder it. It's the only option.
Megan's like, you know what? We gotta go balls deep.
Sure, it's just murder.
We just take it out. It's just one. And then
Yeah,
Paige
right.
is like, just tranquilize it. Still alive. It's okay.
This is why I have to have Paige around, or else like things would just go downhill really fast on.
She'd be
Yeah.
killing all the Bigfoot.
I think you two need to get together and have a little talk. Paige needs to set the protocols for what's going on.
But also this like tells you a little bit about what Paige's job is every day. Because like I'm just like, yeah, just like send a battering ram at that thing and get it done. And Paige is like, let's think about the safe way to do this.
Yeah, there's a different way. All right, so you go into, like I mentioned, the first chunk is ghosts and ghost stories, and then the second chunk is monsters like vampires, werewolves, Bigfoot, all kinds of different monsters. Let me ask you, we got about 10 minutes before we go to break, and then we go to viewer questions. But I want to ask both of you, what's your favorite story in there? Two questions for both of you. What is your favorite story? And then what's the story that, after researching it, was the most interesting because it changed what your view was, or maybe was much different than what you expected? That's actually a better way to say it, I think. So,
And this is, you want specifically monsters or anything out of that section?
anything out of the book. Anything.
Okay.
I know I should have like an immediate answer, but I'm also like trying to remember, like, was this thing in the book or is this just part of the extra stuff that went in the book?
So I think I know my. I know. Oh,
I'm sorry. I hate when I write an article or I make a video for CFI. I spent so much time on it, and I filmed or wrote different sections that by the end, I'm not sure what is in it and what's not. And I have to watch it again in order to realize, like, oh, I did not include that. Like, I'm talking about something on a podcast and it's not in the video.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. All right. What do you got? Anything? Mm-hmm.
Paige, you said you had yours. I've got my favorite one.
I think I know my favorite, but I want to flip through to make sure I'm not missing anything. But the second question is so hard to answer because I feel like so much of this is stuff that we at least like touched on a little bit previously with the podcast. So it's hard to like remember, 5 years ago, what some of these, like what my opinions, because like to me, I feel like I went into the book having a lot of the opinions or like kind of knowing a lot of the stories before we wrote them.
I think I know my answer. Like, I don't have a super specific answer for the second question of like what's the thing that really changed something that I thought, because like I said, like if anything, I'm more skeptical than ever after writing the book. So it's not like anything. And that's the thing about like when we started the podcast, I was like, yeah, like we're definitely going to find some sort of scientific thing that like really seems like there's something paranormal out there. And it's like, nope, that's never the case. So, but anyway, I think the thing that surprised me the most was getting to do a lot of these deeper dives into things like early Bigfoot sightings, or like how Nessie got started, or how the whole like flying saucer UFO phenomena got started. And realizing as I'm writing the book and like doing all this research, just how many of them, if not all of them, are like there's just one initial story that is like not that old in most cases. Like we're talking like in the last few decades, maybe the last 100 years in some cases. And you just realize how many things like have like very small beginnings that like could definitely be explained by something logical or, yellow journalism, whatever. And just how much people have like blown them up and, added in sort of all this like history to pad it out after the fact, like things that maybe weren't related that are in folklore from other cultures. They're like, oh, well, this was actually a Bigfoot that they were talking about. And it's like, well, not really. It's not like what it says. So, Yeah, but I think and I guess I should have expected, like, every story has to start somewhere, right? But
Right.
it was just shocking to me that, like, every single one just had this, like, one pinpoint news story that, like, really kicked off the whole modern craze, and, like, how many of those, just how recent they were. And I think that's weird.
It is. I mean, when you start digging into it, and I think that's the true investigation of a lot of these older mysteries, because
Mhm.
you can't, in many cases, you can't actually investigate locations anymore because sometimes they don't exist, or it's a sighting that happened, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. So you rely on newspaper accounts. And when you go back to the original source, the first newspaper account, you realize it's a small little section that's only 4 or 5 lines, and it's
Mhm.
not a big deal. It didn't get a
Mhm.
praise. But
Yeah.
then fast forward 20, 30 years, and someone that's writing a book, say, on conspiracy theories as truth, they see that and they're like, oh, let me add on a few details here and there, maybe a character, and now we got a story, and it becomes a sensation.
Yeah.
Roswell is a good example of that. Uh,
Yeah.
even the Brown Lady of Raymond Hall, which is one of my favorite
Mm.
ghost stories, that had a complete makeover of its story in 1900. It's completely switched stories. So it's interesting when you go back there. So yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Paige, did you find one?
What was that? Did you find your favorite topic, Megan? Did you
Oh,
already do
and then
that?
my favorite topic
Oh,
I'll do
okay.
real quick before Paige answers. My favorite, and it's like been my favorite for a long time because we talked about it on the podcast like years ago now. But mine's very specific. And it's funny that you brought up carbon monoxide earlier because it's the 1921 medical journal that featured like the family that thought they lived in a haunted house, and then turns out they were just being carbon monoxide poisoned by there's like super old fixtures in
Right.
this Victorian house. But yeah, I just like the stories that they tell. If you go in and read that article, are just bananas. Like the stuff that they were experiencing, like all these like auditory and visual and hallucinations, and like their plants were dying, and they just felt terrible and weird and scared. And like then turns out, oh, you were just being carbon monoxide poisoned. So yeah,
Yeah.
I just love that
Sometimes
story.
it's the simplest thing. Well, it's not so simple,
Yeah,
but in terms of what it could be, that's something like that is so often overlooked.
yeah,
Yeah.
I carry a carbon monoxide detector in my
yeah.
kit because of the story from Carrie Poppy.
Mm.
I carry it, and as soon as I get to a location, I put it out. And in the most active area, find out where that is. I put my carbon monoxide detector in there and turn it on and let it go, running through the night just in case, because I want to know, like,
Mhm.
especially because if that goes off, see ya, I'm out of here. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to stick around. And you need to call the fire department and get somebody out here. But
Yeah.
all right,
Bye.
yeah,
All right,
well,
Paige,
bye.
you gotta do yours really quick.
Yeah, I'll do mine super fast.
No, take your time. I'm not gonna. Take your time.
Okay.
I will go to break after you're done. But you take your
Okay.
time.
Well, so I would say favorite story that ended up in the book is probably the same as Megan's. Love
Cheater.
the story, but
Knew
also
it.
like as what's that?
I said
Cheater.
I had a suspicion.
Yeah.
That it's the same.
Being a safety professional, like it has to be my favorite. And there's just so many other stories like that. Like I think the whole reason we first talked about it on the podcast was after there being that Reddit thread of it happening yet again. And this is more recent to, I don't remember what year. I'm not going to pretend to. But a story of a guy like writing post-it notes to himself that he would find later in the day, and he had like thought somebody was breaking into his house, or had like lived in his house or something, and come to find out it was just him carbon monoxide poisoned, and he had been writing the notes to himself and not remembering them.
That's
Yeah.
I mean, all right, there's 2 points I want to make on this. One, yeah, it's scary that you are so dosed up that you're almost 2 personalities because you don't realize you're writing notes to yourself. And the second point is, I would love to know what I would write myself.
Right?
I can't. That's the first thing that really came to mind. Like, what kind of notes would I leave for myself?
You could make that happen for yourself.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not sure.
I wouldn't recommend it.
My wife would have me committed. Like, here, look, he's writing to himself. He doesn't remember. Take him away.
I might choose like a different substance for that experience than carbon monoxide, but yeah.
All right, Tim. Yeah, we can test me. Oh, that's cool. All right. So that's your favorite. Was there anyone that kind of surprised you? I can broaden the question as in like, just when you started really researching something that just really popped up that was interesting, like, oh, I did not know that. And it kind of stuck out in your head.
So I don't really know what I thought was going on here, so I wouldn't really say it was different than I thought, but probably one of my all-time favorite topics we've ever covered, and is also, like, to this day, one of the scariest things I think we've ever covered, is the Bloody Mary urban legend.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, Meagan like does a great job of detailing like what that is if you're not familiar with it, but a lot of us have probably played it. I know I did a lot as a kid.
I did.
And yeah, so like the whole idea of like what's happening if you think you see or if you've seen the Bloody Mary when you try to like, I don't know, you're supposed to like see her in the mirror or whatever,
Right.
is this phenomenon called the strange face illusion, which is related to Troxler fading. And like I had not really any understanding of this prior to us researching it. So this was all new information to me. But it's basically this idea that like if you stare at something for a period of time and there's no like new stimuli that show up, then eventually like your brain just starts to like filter out what it considers like non-essential, and what you are looking at starts to get like blurry and will change a little bit. And so the idea here is that you're staring at your own face long enough that like basically your face starts to like morph and gets like sort of blurry and weird. And we like looked at the drawings of I think it was like the study that had been done about this, and they're horrifying. And like I
can't. Had people like draw what they saw, and I was like, absolutely not. Like this is not something I'm ever gonna risk seeing ever.
It was it's terrible. And I like just once since then I was like at a friend's house and admittedly had like a cup, like one too many drinks, and found myself just sort of like checking out my hair or whatever, staring at the mirror long enough that it was like, oh no, it's gonna happen to me. It's gonna happen to me. So we talked about this like 5 years ago, and I still can't stop thinking about it.
It haunts me. If I have to get up and like go pee in the middle of the night, I'm like, just don't look at the mirror. Like you don't want to risk this.
So that's you. What did you call it?
The strange face illusion.
Yeah. Okay. That's amazing. I've read about it. There's a place called the Stanley Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley? No, Shanley. Not
okay, I've never heard of that one.
Shanley. The Shanley one. It's in Nanapoke, New York. It has a reputation for being haunted. I visited there several times years ago, and then once recently because they have a disclaimer, a release you have to sign because they say it's the most haunted, and it's bullshit. But they have a room. It's a small closet, and they have a little, what would you call it? The antique vanity desk with a mirror on it, and they don't have any lights in it. They have one candle that goes on. And that is a room that promotes this phenomenon that you say, because you sit there, you can't turn on any lights. You have one candle that's very dim, and you stare at the mirror. And that's what they tell you to do. Stare at the mirror. And I did it, and I was like, and I started giggling because I was like, look at my face. It's all fucked up. Like, this is really cool. But then other people that I was there with would sit down and like, that's weird. That's a weird phenomenon. And we talked about it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a really it's a very real thing, and it's a really weird thing because you don't realize like how your brain screws up your senses in those different environments. So I was very happy when I did read that. I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this. It goes into it. That's awesome.
It's a good one.
All right. So we are going to go to break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do the always fun viewer questions. Because who knows what's going to come up on that. And I claim no responsibility for what happens. So let's see. We got a break that's going to be 4 minutes and 9 seconds. You guys can go get a drink or whatever you need to do. And we'll be back here. There'll be a countdown, so you'll know when to come back on. And that starts now.
And now for something completely different.
Welcome, my fellow skeptics. Welcome, one and all. I am the chief investigator. Oh, come along, old chap. We will have a ball. Now, if you will excuse me, it's time to open the mic. Good night. Good night. Kenny Biddle's the name, investigating's my game, and I will have at it. Quid pro quo. As the head of this committee, hunting for ghosts can be shitty, but there is nothing better that I know. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? Let's open the bar and have some questions, alright. Maybe you might find an answer or two. I will find the truth this night and day. And if my name is not Kenny Biddle, then I assure you here I will not stay. Good day! Kenny Biddle's the name, goes hunting's the game. I won't let anything get in my way. Too many fakers out there, too many chefs, too many tongue tappers, none of it makes any sense. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? Let's open the bar and ask some questions, alright. Maybe you might find an answer or two. Who knows? There may be ghosts in the machine, but trust me, I am not so keen. I prefer to see these things clearly, not in 144 feet. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? If you don't think I am right, let's open my night. Yeah, yeah. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? If you don't think I am right, let's open my night. Yeah. If you have an answer or two, let Kenny Biddle solve it for you. Let Kenny Biddle solve it for you. The one and only Kenny Biddle. Kenny Biddle. Kenny Biddle. Kenny Biddle.
All right. Woohoo.
Another banger.
I was gonna say another banger.
You know what's really funny? That song is my alarm in the morning. So my poor wife has to listen every morning at 7:30. It goes off.
You gotta respect it. Just having your alarm being a song about yourself.
I love it. It's so much fun. One of these days,
awesome.
when I really have time, I'm going to make I want to make a music video for
Yeah,
all
exactly.
3 songs and just have them play, and it's fun. And we also have that's, again, this is what I like about this community, because like Tim Vickers, who's in the background, he does a lot of work when Donna's not here, and somebody made a song for him. So we have his own theme song. So when we go into hour 3, we play his song. We have songs for going into hour 5. So, I mean, because sometimes when I'm here by myself and unsupervised, we live stream for a long time. All right. So second hour, that means it's viewer questions. So mine's the best. Yeah, Tim, whatever. So that means it's the questions from the audience. And here we go. Does that mean science is anti-Scientology? Wisdom. I told you, I have no idea what people are going to ask.
I'm not trying to get assassinated. No. I mean, that's an easy one. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not sure. What's that thing called that they like hold on to and do the weird like?
Oh, the
balancing.
e-meter. The e-meter.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, I don't think that's a scientific instrument.
I'm trying to get, because our Jim Underdown, who runs he's the director of CFI West in California. He has one.
Ooh.
Somebody that was a former member left, got out, and took it with them. So they donated it to CFI West, and he has one. And I've been trying to get him to send it to me so that we can play with it, because I want to see what it does.
Or like take it apart and I've never taken it upon myself. I've always thought like, man, that's kind of silly.
Yeah.
But I've never like taken it upon myself to look into like what is in there. That's like making this little needle go back and forth, and like why does it stop sometimes?
I remember going I was in DC. This was years ago, so like 15-20 years ago. I was in DC, and they have a house where L. Ron Hubbard lived and worked, and you could take a tour. So I did, and at the end of the tour, they let you try the e-meter. And this is long before I knew what they were and what it was, because I was like, I don't know what this is. I had nothing to do, and this was a tour, so I'm taking it. I didn't even know who L. Ron Hubbard was. So I went in and I held on to the things, and I'm expecting like a shock, because, you know, like I grew up going down to Wildwood, New Jersey, and all these like beach towns with piers and all these games, you know, like carnival games. Like if somebody gives you 2 handles, you can be sure that you're going to get shocked. You know, that's just what I expected. Nothing happened. And he's like, oh, looks like you'd be a good candidate for joining us. And I'm like, no, this sounds like a cult. No, I'm not getting into this. So, but years later, then I realized what they were. And, now I'm trying to get, I would like Jim to send it out to me just so I can take the back off and see what's inside.
You gotta.
I would love to see what's in there. Probably nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like I still don't know what you guys are talking about.
Paige is like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, the e-meter.
I would tell you to look it up. I don't want you to do it. Yeah, don't look it up.
I did it already, though. I'm currently looking it up.
Shut up, Radford. Hey, Ben, how you doing? Good to see you, buddy. All right, next question, Tim. That's funny. Oh my goodness. Mysteries Untold by Michael Burkeen. Since you're into spooky science, did you, Meagan, and Paige know that frogs are connected to Frankenstein through the study of galvanism?
So I literally, like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, just did a TikTok video about this.
Oh, did you?
Yay! Hit.
Know that.
What is it?
So it's named for, I think his first name's Luigi, but it's a scientist who, his last name's Galvani, so it's where we get the word galvanism. But he applied, this is like late 1700s, yeah, because no,
I thought it was more like 19th.
no,
century,
it's 17. When was Frankenstein written? Because we're talking
18th.
or 30 years before that. Either way, whatever. He's doing scientific experiments. He applies electric current to frog legs, and they like twitch and seem like they're coming to life again. So it's like this idea that like people were animated by some sort of electricity or electric current. But this idea really blows up, and people started to do these galvanism experiments where they were taking like corpses that they obtained from the hangman and running electric current through them, and like, you know, they would blink their eyes and sit up and like reach out to people and make groaning sounds and like all like very horrifying things. And like they're trying to understand, like, are these people really coming back to life? Whatever. Obviously they're not. It's just, you know, you apply electric current to muscle tissue, it twitches. But yeah, but it's part of the inspiration that Mary Shelley had for Frankenstein, because she knew about these experiments that were going on. So
okay,
yeah. Hey, somebody's got me.
Hey,
It's the late 1700s.
That's Tim Binga, our librarian here.
Perfect.
Yes,
I panicked because I was like, was Frankenstein 1700? No.
Oh my goodness. That, you know what? I gotta say, even if I knew it was coming, I know the entire process. I do understand what's going on here. But if I'm in the room with a corpse and you apply a current to it,
yeah,
and the eyes open,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out.
I'm gonna be like,
for sure.
oh no.
I mean, I'm just gonna be freaked out to be in a room with a corpse.
That
Anyway.
that does not bother me at all. I mean, I was a medic for a while, so like I'm used to being around dead people, and
That's fair. But like, what's the scenario where I'm in a room with a corpse?
for like an experiment, like they're telling you, hey, come on in here, we're going to show you or demonstrate.
I thought you just meant like, oops, I'm accidentally in a room with this corpse.
Well, you know what? I keep a few in my basement, so you know, just.
But also, Paige, you like know for sure that if somebody was like, hey, want to go check out this experiment on this corpse, you'd be like, yes, I have to do that.
I would do it.
Yeah. And then I'd be freaked out. All right. Next question, Tim, please. Silent Cow. Imagine being in the 1800 and Steve says, hey, watch this. Applies electric shock to a corpse. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that'd be interesting. All right. Cree Storm. You said believers need to consider other options. Don't you think that a skeptic should have to do the same? Is there such a thing as being too skeptical and neglecting possibility of the unexplainable?
Yeah, and I can take this one. Unless did you want to answer, Kenny?
No, I've been chit-chatting.
Oh, I thought Kenny was going to answer.
Oh, he's going to answer.
I'll inject something here.
Okay.
It's a pet peeve with the word unexplainable. So you can say something is unexplained because it does not have an explanation yet. But when you determine that something or say that something is unexplainable, you are by definition saying that it will never have an explanation. And I don't think that's a correct term to use because you don't know. If you don't have enough information on it, you can't say it's unexplainable because you don't know if it is actually unexplainable. It's just not something within your scope of knowledge. So that's just a pet peeve with me with that term in particular. It's not anyone in particular. It's just that term. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think this kind of comes back to the point that Meagan was making earlier about the importance of the science community and the paranormal community working together. I think there is such a thing as, I don't know, being too skeptical or just kind of blowing off somebody else's like beliefs or thoughts without investigating it, right? And so I think just by the scientific community putting the effort in and building an experiment to try to collect evidence is a way of considering other options, and at least like putting the work into, so we're not just saying like, oh, well, that's not true because I don't think it's true. There's actually something there to lean on.
Good. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's sort of the thing about perceptions of scientists and stuff is, and perceptions of scientists, I think, in, or like mainstream science in the paranormal community, is that thinking of things like the scientific method and all this as like, oh, like you're stuck in this box and you can't get out of it. Like you're not going to consider other possibilities at all. And it's like, no, like that's the whole point of being a scientist, is like you are open to other possibilities. You're thinking creatively to solve problems. You're literally, if you're doing research, like pushing the boundaries of like what we think we know about the world and moving beyond that, like just a little bit at a time. But like that's what's happening. Like you're going outside the box that exists just by doing science. So yeah, but I also know that, like Paige said, yeah, like science has frequently looked down on the paranormal, and there's this like perception that, yeah, that they're closed-minded and they think it's silly, whatever. And it's like that also could be worked on. There'd be better messaging there.
Right. I think there needs to be a separation too, because when there's to consider something quote unquote paranormal, that's a blanket term. It's not a specific thing. It's a blanket term. So you're by definition, you are trying to invoke something that hasn't been explained yet. So I think that's part of the problem, is that I'm going to consider known solutions. I'm going to consider known things that might cause the experience that someone have before I'm going to invoke the idea of maybe ghost. I'm not going to invoke the idea of ghost. What I will get to is, if I've used all the information that's gathered and we've exhausted everything that I know and other people that I've brought in that know about this topic, various topics, and we are still at a conclusion of, I don't know what this is, that's the conclusion. It doesn't go beyond I don't know to ghost, because I think that's a leap of faith to go to ghost or demon or whatever, quote unquote paranormal for the blanket. So
yeah,
this is fun. We should do this more often. Next question, Tim, please. Sky Talker, what's up, Sky? Doesn't a lot of toxic buildup in brains cause neurological defects? I was warned I could start having hallucinations when kidneys were failing, and I did. Mine was dancing plastic fruit. Seriously, Sky? Like,
are you sure you just weren't doing like the baby sensory videos where it's like the dancing fruit?
Yeah, maybe you just accidentally turned it on.
like, did you actually see like dancing plastic fruit? Like, how did they dance? Did the fruit expand, or did they pop out legs and arms? I'm sorry. Good. You girls answer.
I think you're looking for page 49 if you're going the same place.
Listen, I know, because I'm trying to think of a specific. Well, okay. Yeah. So, long story short, like the answer is yes. I guess I'm not familiar with like kidneys in particular causing problems. But yeah, I mean, we have a whole section about sort of like environmental factors or health factors that go into why people see ghosts. And there's like so many substances out there that people come into contact that could cause you to see some really weird stuff or experience some really weird things.
Right. I mean, you have to consider any kind of medication that you're on. That if the side effects do include kind of hallucinations or that makes you sleepy or tired or drowsy. Because many times this is a ongoing problem with a lot of ghost hunters, because when they go out at night, and many of them stay out later than their normal bedtime. And that's not making fun of them. It's like some people go to bed at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock and that's it. You know, that's their schedule. So if they're out at a location at midnight or 1 a.m., they're tired. And if nothing is going on, they start dozing off. And that's when people start having small mini hallucinations. So yeah, this is something that you definitely need to be aware of, and talk to your doctor about. So if there's issues there, obviously there's issues there. And if hallucinations are part of it, and I mean, and it was acknowledged that it was part of it and she experienced it, which is, it's both like, that sucks. I'm sorry that's happening to you, but it's also, I can't help but say it's interesting. Like, what did the fruit pop out legs? Like, I want to know if it was like, I'm thinking like a cartoon, like the little legs pop out and the arms pop out, like a head, like, and it starts dancing. Like, I want to know more. So talk to me.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the other thing.
Wild.
That is wild. I know. Now I'm like,
I didn't realize.
Google that later. But I think the other thing is that, like, even sans anything being wrong with you, like mentally or physically or whatever, like hallucinations are super common, like way more common than people think. And like, especially in kids, which is why I think you kind of get this like creepy kid trope where they're like seeing things that aren't there and nobody else experiences them. It's because like their little brains are just like exploding all the time. So like they get confused sometimes, and like see or hear things that aren't there. And you've got the whole imaginary friend phenomena, whatever. But this is a great opportunity for me to tell the story of like when we were finishing up the book last August. It was probably like almost a year to the date because we were like really working hard at the end and doing a lot of late nights and stuff. And I've talked about it on the podcast. But I was sitting on our couch in our living room and like just on my laptop working, and it was probably, I don't know, like 11:30 at night. So for me, that's late and I'm very tired. And like I had been, getting very little sleep because I'd been staying up late to work on book stuff endlessly. And I'm sitting there and like I distinctly heard the sounds, like the pitter patter of feet across our wood floor from the direction of my daughter's room, and like looked up from my computer, fully expecting like she's going to be there standing in front of me and she's gotten out of bed for one reason or the other. And I got to go tuck her back in. I look up and like no one is there. And I was like, man, that was like so vivid. Like I definitely heard those footsteps, and it was enough that like I set my computer down and I got up and I like went and like looked in her room and she was sound asleep. Like nothing had happened. Like I looked and checked where the dog was, but like it definitely did not sound like little dog nails across the floor, and like he was asleep somewhere else. So it was not him. But it was just such a bizarre experience. And I think I was just so tired and like maybe, like you said, starting to drift off or whatever. But like this common sound that I hear a lot when I'm sitting down in our living room, which is her running out of her room to like get another hug, whatever, just sort of like popped into my brain. But I think there are a lot of people out there who would have that experience and say like, wow, that was something paranormal. But I don't think that it was, but it was certainly really weird.
It's interesting. Yeah. When you fall asleep, when you start to fall asleep and you're drifting off, there's all kinds of weird shit. And if you're watching TV and you happen, like for me, I noticed because I wear glasses a lot now. I didn't always wear glasses, but now that I do wear glasses and I'm sitting here or at home and I have like a screen right in front of me because I'm working, if I'm dozing off, I get the weird distortions in the sides of the glasses. And I know I'm falling asleep because I jump like, what's that? What's that? Oh, I was falling asleep. I got to stop this, And so I think little things like that is not common to consider when people have these experiences. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's
So
good. That's a
I
good
don't know.
question. Good. All right, Tim, what else we got? Cree Storm. How can anyone say that teams out there honestly try to find answers? Or honestly try to find answers or doing it right or wrong when they have no clue what the spirit world would even be or look like?
I don't know that we're, again, like personally, like for the two of us, I don't know that we're necessarily trying to say that it's being done right or wrong. Rather, we're trying to say these instruments aren't working the way the people using them are describing them to work or explaining them to work. And the way that they're going about doing this does not meet like the scientific method, which is something that we would want it to meet before we would believe. Like, I don't know that that says it's right or wrong. Just that it's not like, it's just not, I don't think it's being done in the way that people are being told it's being done. Like it's being described in a way that makes it sound like it's very scientific. There's been a lot of thought in like making sure it meets the scientific method and that like it's a proper experiment. But then when you like really dig into it, it just doesn't meet the things that they're saying it does.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I mean, that question sort of just gets at like the crux of the problem with, to some extent, with like just trying to combine science and the paranormal in the first place, is that if we're sort of setting this goalpost of like, well, the paranormal doesn't belong or doesn't behave in any way that, you know, we know things to behave based on what we know about science right now, what we know about the world because of science right now, then like it's almost like you're a little bit dead in the water to start, because science starts with, well, I have to take some observation and apply what I think I know about the world, how the world works, like how natural processes work in the world that have been, you know, that we have scientific theories about all this stuff. So it's like, if I can't even do that, then like you can't even start the scientific method, because what are you going to ask? Like, that's like an impossible question. And actually, I think like one of my favorite examples of, well, one of my sort of like biggest hangups with ghost hunting and like all these different devices that people use is, like Paige said, they're using like cobbling together these ghost hunting devices out of things that are meant to do other stuff. So like they're not using them the way they're meant to be used. They're not like following the proper procedures. There's no like controls that are put in place, stuff like that. So like, even if we said like, hey, you know, ghosts are manifest energy, right? And so we could measure that like with a REM pod or with a EMF reader. I think, Kenny, like one of my favorite things, and I don't know if it was an article or a video that you wrote, but was like, well, okay, if you have like a REM pod and you think it's sensing electromagnetic fields or changes in electromagnetic fields in a haunted place, and it's the ghost themselves who's like manipulating that or like creating that field, then like put it in a Faraday cage. And if you still get the readings, then okay, something weird is going on here, because you've isolated it from like every ambient source. And, you know, now we see what happens when like it's supposedly just the ghost. So
I love that. I love the answer that you both gave. I will add to this that I will say that I can honestly say some people are doing it wrong. Or right. I mean, I'm not going to hold back on this. Some people are doing it wrong when they say for instance, if they take an EMF meter like this, all right, and they turn it on and they're sitting here and it's in the middle of the room, and they say, all right, you know, can you make this light up? If there's a ghost here, can you make it light up? And you wait for it, you see if, it lights up with I don't know what's going on here, but it lit up. and it happens again, and you realize that it's a two-way radio that's making it go off. The problem is that, and Megan, I think you touched on this. There's no controls in place, so you can have this in the middle of the room. You can have a REM pod, because I just have ghost hunting equipment just all over my desk here. But you can have this in the middle of the room, and if it goes off, you have some groups that say that's a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that's wrong. Saying that's a ghost, concluding that that's a ghost that's causing that, is wrong, because you're not properly testing it. Because I can, especially with this thing, this piece of shit, you can be across the room and make that go off.
Yeah.
So there has to be proper controls in place for us to understand what's going on. And the suggestion of putting it in a Faraday cage is paramount. It's important, because that will block the known variable that will make that go off.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where science and belief clash, because people want to believe because they see it and it's what they prefer.
Yeah.
But if you want to do science, or, apply science to what you're doing, then you have to put in certain controls. And if you're not, then yes, I will say with confidence, you're doing it wrong. And I'm not saying that you're a bad person. You're just doing it wrong, and I'm not going to be convinced of that. If you want to stay within your belief and keep it to yourself, fine. If you put it out there on YouTube, you better fucking believe I'm going to say something about it. But
yeah, and I was just going to make that point. Like, also just remember, people, that like TV is made for entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think like, the control thing always gets me. But I guess like I would go so far as to say like, well, if the goal is to scientifically prove that ghosts exist or whatever exists, and you're not following the scientific method, then like you're doing it wrong. Then it just is the way that it is.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. I simultaneously like think that, ghost hunting equipment and like how it all gets used on shows and stuff is like simultaneously my favorite thing about paranormal stuff, but like also my least favorite. Just because it's like, oh, this is so wrong. But like, so I mean, from my perspective, like I'm my day job, like I'm an analytical chemist, and I use instrumentation on a day-to-day basis. Like my whole job is like quality assurance and quality control, and by nature, so much of the paranormal is like, oh, well, we've measured an anomaly and like we're gonna call that paranormal. But like it's also sort of just how like conspiracy theories work, right? Like you're like, oh, this one weird data point exists, like that's what they're hiding from us, that's what they don't want us to know. Like, okay, but there's like this screaming trend of like everything else that's going on, and like that's a weird data point. So like if I'm collecting a data set at work and I see one or two samples that like, man, just gave like super weird results, then like my first thought is not like, oh, that means something really exciting is going on with those specific samples. My first thought is something's gone wrong here. Like,
yeah, what's wrong with the instrument?
Right. Like what happened with the instrument to like give me these weird readouts? Like why, did something happen with the processing of those samples? Like it's all chasing down like these little trails of like what could have happened before, and multiple trails, ruling out every alternative possibility or like something that could have gone wrong before I officially accept like, hey, maybe those samples actually were weird. And like most of the time, in order to make that declaration, like I measure them again. And again, like if things are anomalies, they're not repeatable. You can't measure them again. So it's like you can't, like you're just never gonna know.
Right. No, I totally agree. I mean, that's what we don't see on all these network shows and YouTube channels, where they get a reading that's an anomaly, but they don't check the equipment. I mean, I'm just like both of you. The first thing that happens if it goes off, I'm like, do I have something on here? Like, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? I got to check myself. And I'm not trying to explain it away. I'm trying to figure out, did I do something wrong? And make sure that I didn't cause that anomaly. So yeah, I great points. Excellent points. We definitely should do this more often. Right. What do we got, Tim? Sky Talker. If our consciousness lives on, then wouldn't we be antimatter? Interact with matter isn't. Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Listen, I don't think I know. Here's the thing about physics is it's my like weakest point when it comes to science stuff. So I honestly don't think that I'm like familiar enough about what they say about how antimatter works or how it exists. Like my biggest experience with antimatter is like the Da Vinci Code movie. So I'm positive that was not scientifically sound.
That I just watched it. It was just on.
Yeah, I mean, like I still liked it, but like I don't think that's how antimatter works. So.
That's a movie prop I want to make. I want to make that little cylinder with a little light in it. Oh yeah. That's I mean, my experience with antimatter is like Star Trek. That's as far as I go with it. Yeah.
Isn't it just like the idea that if they interact, they are destroyed, right? So like they can't.
Yeah, I mean it's a weird thing because I mean we have antimatter, but we have all dark matter. I'm not sure what both are. This is way above my pay grade.
Yeah.
I tried to take a physics class. Tim in the background, and I tried to take a physics class, and we could not get through the mathematics pre-course to get to the physics course. So no,
I barely squeaked through physics. So
when I have, let me bring up the new issue. So when I look at the issue of Skeptical Inquirer, free plug, and I open it up. There's a list of fellows there, and there's several physicists on there that if I have a physics question, that's where I go. I ask them because I am completely stupid when it comes to physics, and I don't pretend that I have any knowledge in it whatsoever. So
yeah. I mean, I think it's just the whole idea that like everything has balance, right? So if like there's matter that exists, there also has to be the opposite that exists to like
yin yang
balance it out and stuff like that. But man, then you're in the realm of like theoretical quantum physics, and it's like
yeah, my head's hurting. Quantum mechanics. I learned math as a language.
There you go.
Yep. Yeah. It was like, what? That's a language? Shit. All right. What else we got, Tim? I did put a cutoff because we have a lot of questions.
Oh.
People are loving you guys. People are loving having you on. So Pam Spencer says, do you feel like science fiction is taken for actual science and therefore cause a cultural believability for the fictional? Ooh, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at Scientology, right?
Yeah. I mean,
L. Ron Hubbard like wrote science fiction and then was like, what if I also created a religion?
You know what? I'll inject in here in the beginning that Star Trek was the inspiration for a lot of modern devices. When you look at the flip phone, injectors for medicine, there was a lot from Star Trek that inspired science and technology and growth. So, but go ahead. What do you guys think?
Your thoughts, Paige? I mean, I am positive that there are examples of people like seeing things in movies or books or whatever that are purely science fiction, but then like getting it confused and thinking like, oh, this is a real thing that's happening or that whoever can do. But yeah, I don't know. But I don't think it's like a negative thing. I don't know.
Right. Right. What do you think, Paige?
Yeah, I'm trying to think like I also really can't think of any examples. But yeah, I feel like it definitely does. Like, I definitely think, yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know what else to say.
All right.
Yes,
You know what?
I don't have any other thoughts.
I'll jump in here and say that yes, I think a lot of this paranormal community watches movies and they get ideas from the movies. They sit and think about them. And I'm going to say something. It's not meant to be an insult, but I think with the limited knowledge that they have, because they do not bother to go out and research a lot of these topics, they base it off of what they believe is true. They take these science fiction ideas and concepts and think, yeah, that seems logical. That seems like it works. And I mean, the problem is that most of these writers for these science fiction movies and TV shows are pretty good writers. So they try to make it believable. And I think that filters over or spills over into reality. And we take for granted what happens in a movie as factual. And I'm trying to think of well, I guess an example. I don't know if it's a perfect example, but I think a beginning example would be to refer back to Ghostbusters and say that before 1984, there were no handheld devices that I know of that were used in ghost hunting. It
Really?
practical effects like hanging tissue paper or rice paper in doorways to see if there was a breeze. It was using candles to see if the lit candle the flame would go back and forth. It was putting powder on the floor. It was using more practical means. Then after 1984, you saw people starting to employ things like EMF meters that were handheld devices, which were a direct result, in my opinion, I'm going to make that clear, in my opinion, of the PKE meter used in the film. So I think that's an instance or an example of when science fiction inspired reality, but it didn't inspire science like Star Trek did. It inspired, hey, let's just use this because it's a handheld device and it reads energy.
Yeah.
And we'll go with that.
Yeah. And I was also going to say, I think I saw it in the comments at some point too, is like science fiction is informed a lot by actual science, right? So like it would make sense that people can easily get it mixed up and get confused, like what the real science is versus what the fictional pieces are.
Right. It's hard to tell. I mean, I've had the one example that I would use is I got an email from someone that was thoroughly convinced the paranormal existed. And I said, great. You know, like, what do you specifically think exists? Because again, paranormal is a blanket term. He said, ghosts exist. I know they do. And I have proof. I said, great. Show me the proof. And he said, his response, no lie, was, there's 20 some seasons of Ghost Adventures. That's all he said. And I was like, all right, this conversation's over. I'm not going to follow up with this because that's using pure fiction and fabrication for reality. But they took it as reality.
Yeah, like why would they keep making this show if it wasn't real? It's like, well,
yeah, you know,
because they're making a lot of money.
But I mean,
it.
Like the stone tape theory. I mean, that's a classic example. That was the stone tape is a film, and it's a cool film when you watch it in the idea of when it was made, the time frame that it was made. It was ahead of its time. It was a cool concept, but it's fiction. They made it up for the movie. But that is a idea, that is a concept that still is used today. And in fact, I just saw a conference going on this weekend where someone is presenting a presentation of the stone tape theory. So that's where fiction has definitely inspired, I use the term loosely, reality. because they are taking this fictional concept and saying, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, there are people, I think we talk about it in the book, that think that the original Nessie sighting that like blew up and made her famous was because the couple, or one of the original ones was because the couple had like recently seen King Kong. And there's like a scene in that movie where a like long-necked sauropod dinosaur like crawls out of the water and like chases some guys, and it's like, this looks very familiar to like the sighting and the animal that you described. So anyway.
All right. I saw, before we get to the next question real quick, let me go over some new members. So we got Paul, I'm going to butcher your last name, Talarico, who became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. We got Pinky, that is member for 2 months. And we got, Sky Talker became a member for another 8 months. Thank you. Follow that, Pinky. And then Steve Ankney. Oh, hey.
We know him.
Thank you. Yeah, for a donation of $5. Thank you. So I was like, I'm looking at the name going, wait a minute.
Who is that?
Who is that? Who is that to you?
That's my husband.
That's
Paige's
your husband.
brother.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Steve, very much. I appreciate it. Okay. All right,
Quit
Tim.
spending our money.
Wait, can I add one more thing to the last question?
Sure.
The idea of little green men for aliens, wasn't that originally either in like a book or a movie, or am I thinking of something else? Where like that initial idea came from?
That I'd have to look up.
I know the idea of like the whole like the like gray alien phenomena is like definitely a science fiction thing, but yeah, I don't know. You're probably.
That's all.
Now I'm
I
gonna
just
look
had
it
that
up.
thought.
All right, Tim, put up the next question so I can read it to them. Flintstones. Oh, that could be it. Well, they had a little green alien on the Flintstones cartoon. I remember that.
I hope that's right.
I do hope that's right. I gotta like do another edition of the book. You only believe in aliens because of the Flintstones.
All right, wait a minute. So I looked up, I'm going off of Wikipedia here, so take a grain of salt here. Little green men is the stereotypical portrayal of extraterrestrials as little humanoids with green skin. The term little green men came into popular usage in reference to aliens during the reports of flying saucers in the 1950s. In one classic case, the Kelly Hopkinsville sighting in 1955 was in rural Kentucky. 2 men described a supposed encounter with a metallic silver, somewhat humanoid-looking aliens no more than 4 feet tall. So it looks like that's where it might have started, which is cool.
Okay.
I actually have a Hopkinsville alien sculpture that was done by a descendant of them out in the lobby, along with the book that they wrote. That's pretty cool. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next question. Has anyone heard about the Hudson Canyon USO and Hudson Valley UAP theories?
Nope.
I don't think so, or at least not by those names.
All right. Well, thank you, Puerto Rican.
Sorry.
We'll have to circle back to that. And then before you get to the next question, I got to say thank you, Cree Storm, for a member for 9 months. I really do have an open mind, and you make me think about things. Thanks, Kenny. It's been great. Hope you don't get tired of me. Oh, that's so sweet. We have to talk, Cree. I have an idea, and I need to talk to you after this. So send me an email after, because I have an idea that I want to run by you. All right. So, Tim, what do we got next? Friday House. Hello, buddy. What is one paranormal phenomenon you would want to prove or disprove? Oh, it's always interesting. I love these kind of questions. What do you got? Skeptics, come on.
I mean, mine's easy. Like it's probably ghosts.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know, like I
yeah.
mean, like for selfish reasons too, because like, man, wouldn't it be nice to know, like,
Right. That yeah.
like, that
Right.
there's something else after this happens. But yeah, just because I like
Yeah,
ghost
ghost.
stories, and it would be fun if some of them were real. But I think like as a scientist, getting actual proof that there is life elsewhere outside of this planet, or like intelligent life elsewhere outside of this planet, would be
Yeah.
pretty bomb. So
Yeah, I'm torn. I'm really torn because on one hand, if you can prove that ghosts exist, that means there is some kind of life after death
Mhm.
and you continue on. So it's not just because right now my idea is that I just don't exist, just like I
Right.
didn't exist before I was born. So,
Yeah.
no big deal because I won't know. I won't exist. But then I'm also torn with the other idea that the space is so freaking big and there's so much out there. Like, if there are Jedi out there somewhere, I want to be one. Like, I want to go out, and the thought that I'm never going to get to visit another planet is very disturbing to me.
Yeah.
It bothers me.
Yeah. And I guess I should say, like, you know, that's calling life on other planets or aliens something paranormal, which, like, in the way that a lot of people talk about them with like UFOs and all this, like they very much are. But but like I definitely believe that there's something else out there. Like that seems,
Right.
pretty likely in an infinite universe. Just it would be nice to get the confirmation.
All right. What else we got there, Tim? Jade Kitten, do either of you have children? And if so, have you taught them not to fear the paranormal, but to question it instead?
So I don't have children, but when I saw this answer or this question come up earlier, I was very excited for Meagan.
Listen, I am raising the perfect little skeptic. So my daughter is 6 years old, and it's like she's heard some scary things before from people at school or whatever, like telling her scary stories or talking about whatever monsters, whatever, and she gets really freaked out about them sometimes. And so it's like very nice to be able to tell her, like, well, your Aunt Paige and I are like kind of experts about this like sort of spooky stuff, and like I can tell you 100% that like this is not real, like you are fine. Yeah, we had a very serious like Krampus episode at one point. But the other thing is so I mentioned before that like kids are more prone to having just mild hallucinations. It's like 20% of kids or something have them. And she was like laying in bed one night, and she told me that she got kind of freaked out because she thought that she heard somebody else in her room like saying her name. This really makes it sound like my house is haunted with the other story, but like I really don't think it is. But anyway, she told me that, and like I could sit there and talk to her and say like, hey, like that's a really common thing that happens to a lot of kids, to a lot of people, and like sometimes your brain just plays tricks on you and you think that you've heard something in your room or whatever, you think you've seen something in your room, but like it's just your brain playing tricks on you. So like it's happened I think a couple other times, or like she's gotten freaked out about something and she's like, maybe it's just my brain being weird. I just really love it that she's like latched onto this, like this is fine, mom told me like brains are just weird sometimes, and like I've accepted that.
So
yeah, but there are also things that like we've talked about that she's sort of like she'll sort of look at them and be like, well, that's ridiculous, that's not real. We have to talk about like you got to be nice to people though.
I want to ask before we keep going. We are at the 2-hour mark.
Oh yeah.
So do you want to wrap it up, or do you want to keep going for a little bit? It's up to you. I'm going to leave it up to you.
Yeah, I mean that's up to you, Meagan, with bedtime. I can stick around Meagan, a little bit longer.
with your
Yeah, I
Paige
can stick
time.
around a little bit longer. Yeah, I don't know. My
Okay.
husband's in the
All
chat.
right.
He can tell me if Alice is asleep or awake.
All right, because we do have a few more questions,
That's
but I
fine.
don't want to hold you up if you want to go. So, all right, cool. What else? What do we got, Tim? Storm, how can you apply science to spirituality? Oh, one is fact-based and the other is on the belief system. The two don't mix well, at least in my opinion. You ladies are very interesting. I will be getting the book.
Yay.
So, God,
Sorry.
for you. That's not for me. That's for the two of you.
I know. No, so I think the way that it has been applied is more of in like a psychological or like social science kind of way, in terms of scientific studies that have happened. People have done various experiments to look at like, well, what are there cognitive differences between like the mind of a believer, whether that's like paranormal or like religious things, or somebody who's a skeptic or like who isn't a religious person, and like they've been able to apply science in that way and determine that like there tend to be like differences in sort of like the way that people's brains work and interpret things between those two groups. But yeah, like it's like we keep saying, like it's a very personal thing. And obviously like spiritualism or spirituality, religion, like it's a very personal thing to people. I'm not out here to be like, no, you're not allowed to believe what you believe, or like, because you can't prove it. Like if it makes you feel better, then great. Then I think maybe that just like is what it is, unless you're hurting people. But
okay,
yeah,
good.
Great answer.
Paige is like, yeah, what is that?
Great.
I don't know. I feel like it can be applied in a lot of the same ways that they apply it to any other paranormal situation,
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like that's not, we're not really out here to tell people like you shouldn't believe in something. So it's kind of a
the other thing that I really liked about or like one of the little like tidbits that I sort of like that's semi-related to this from the book, but like speaking about like how believers versus skeptics, like whether it's paranormal or religion, whatever, their brains work differently, is like some people think that sort of this tendency to have these like more spiritual or paranormal beliefs like is, or like interpret things as being that way, is like potentially some sort of like evolutionary advantage, right? Like if you like read a little bit too much into like that rustling in the bushes, like you're maybe more likely to like get out of there and not risk it like being a hungry bear rather than a little squirrel. Whereas like people like me, I'd be like, that's definitely not a bear. Like I'm fine to keep foraging and then, get eaten.
or she'd say, I'm gonna kill it.
Poor Bigfoot.
No. I talked
Daryl's going to be
would
laying
not.
out in the woods somewhere. I agree. I mean, it's when you apply science to spirituality, it really depends on the person that's asking. Like if you have your own beliefs, that's one thing. And again, like I said in the beginning, you do you, as long as you don't hurt other people, or you don't try to forcefully influence other people or make them believe what you believe. And then when you put it out there in public, it's open to criticism. Doesn't mean it's, let's go into attack mode. It's open to criticism. We can talk about it. So I guess it depends on the person. If they want to apply science to it, that's one thing. If you don't, then don't offer it. I guess that's my best advice. Don't offer it to criticism.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I know like there are certainly scientists out there who are also very religious or spiritual people. And, I think there was a question earlier about, the unexplainable, whatever. There are plenty of things in science where like that science can't explain yet. And like, I think for maybe a lot of sciencey people, like whatever spirituality, God, whatever it is, like is sort of like in the details of like the things that we can't explain, or like all the things that had to work out perfectly for us to get where we are. So, you know, there's lots of ways to look at it. It is what it is.
Cool. All right. What else we got, Tim? I put my glasses on so I can read. Pump. It's so bad. Like I do this. I can read that comment because it's big enough. But I look over at the comment section and I'm like, nope. I recognize names because I'm used to seeing the names every week. That's about it. So
yeah.
But Sir Pump says, Kenny, have either of the charming ladies seen your so-called unicorn? Whoa.
I read that question like 4 times and read it completely wrong every single time.
I don't know what you're talking about here. I'm seriously lost.
I'm a little worried about it.
I do not have a unicorn.
Do you have like a
But you really don't have a unicorn?
I mean, honestly, out of all the shit that I have in this office, I do not have a unicorn.
Yeah.
Do you have something that's like your unicorn though? Like the thing that nothing. Like that's
like
how I read it. Is like the thing that I don't know. Is that a euphemism?
Thanks, Obscure.
That's what I read. I was like, what?
Sir Pump, can you clarify what you mean here? I mean, I have little things like I mean, I have this guy hangs out. This is my little ghost. You
like
know?
the thing that like you most believe in, or like is that what they're saying? Like
is that what that means?
Yeah.
Well,
did somebody at one point send you like a picture of a unicorn?
I don't know. I'm waiting for the comments to come up. Everyone wants to buy me a unicorn. Stop.
Yeah, we're gonna start sending unicorns.
Oh my god! Next thing you know, like next week, I'm gonna get nothing but unicorns in the mail.
Yeah. I'm just gonna come into the chat and just repeatedly post the unicorn
emoji
over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about unicorns, though. Like, it's sort of stupid that like they don't exist, but like giraffes exist. That's insane.
I'm really perplexed. I'm like looking around, like what are they talking about? Sir Pump, if you're in here, clarify, please. I'd like to know what you're talking about. All right, Tim, let's roll on to the next question. Oh my goodness. Wisdom, can you hallucinate that your chair is being scratched by a cat that is not there? Or feel like someone is behind you kicking your chair? Or hallucinations limited to hearing and vision?
You can hallucinate everything.
Yeah, I mean, and like a very like clear example of this, though, would require you to probably be under the influence of something. Like, is like the people who are under the influence and talk about like feeling like spiders crawling on their skin, or you know, and there are plenty of chemicals out there that enough exposure could cause something like that.
But there's also
like, I was gonna say like people who say that they have like they hear like phantom dog noises after a dog passes away, or they think they hear, see, or feel like a pet or somebody who used to live in their household, which like a lot of that can be explained away or like with as like grief hallucinations. So yeah, you can hallucinate.
But there's also like a super common one that happens to people all the time, which is like if you've ever had your phone in your pocket and you like swear that it vibrated and that you got a notification, and then you look at it and it's like nothing. Didn't get a message, nothing. It's like that is technically like a mild hallucination, but it happens to people all the time.
Multiple times a day for me.
Yeah. And no one's ever there. No.
I want to say, I mean, I agree with you both. Hallucinations can be anything when you're talking about visual or hearing or tactile. It can be all three, and it can happen for anything. The phone syndrome, the vibrating phone syndrome can do it. You can hallucinate any sensory input. And it depends on the circumstances and the environment that you're in. Sometimes it's not a hallucination as much as a misinterpretation of something that's going on. And like people constantly say that they hear their name called while in the shower. and that is the white noise generated by the shower itself, where you might think you hear your name, but you don't. It's just because you're lost in thought, and the white noise kind of creates this illusion of your name being called. So it's interesting. I will let me move on here. I want to say real quick, thank you, Pinky, for this super sticker. I appreciate it. And we have just a few questions left. Do you mind if I play a song?
Go ahead. I'm ready to hear the third banger.
People are asking about Tim's song, if I'm going to play it, because we're in the third hour and they want to hear Tim's song. So
I'm ready.
Right, so I will play this. This starts pretty quick. It is Tim Vickers. It's 2 minutes long, so we'll come back and we'll finish up the questions and we'll let you go to bed, Megan. All right.
It's not my bedtime.
Not her bedtime.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My bad.
You thought
He's like,
Megan's
wow.
My bad. All right. We'll be back in 2 minutes and 4 seconds from now.
Away. He's a tortured soul with a single goal to keep the trapped souls at bay. Let's the show go into hour 3 or 4, but if you really will show you the door. You've been figured out. You've been figured out. You've been figured out. You've been figured. Tim loves physics, history, animals, and a good mystery. Misconceptions he loves to slay. He's an easygoing chap, calls it boring a Seattle or a cat. Cat skeptical talks all day. Let the show go into hour 3 or 4, but if you really will show you the door. You've been figured out. You've been figured so long. You've been figured out. You've been figured. Show you the door. You've been figured out. You've been figured out. You've been figured out. You've been figured.
It was so good. But really, we need to know, like, is that also Tim's alarm in the morning?
I don't know. Is it? So there's a joke here. And this goes back years now. Tim Vickers and I and another gentleman, Dave Schumacher, we do another podcast once a month called Three Tortured Souls. And the three of us have a habit of going into different like Facebook groups and stuff. When we see somebody make a claim that's just outrageous, we start questioning it. And I mean, we're not mean. We're not on the offensive or anything like that. We simply ask questions that are polite and we hope for answers. And we usually get kicked out and blocked from the group. And it's really started with Tim. And the joke became, oh, you got vickered from that group. And that's our way of saying you got kicked out or blocked from a group. So it was inspired one of our viewers to write a song about Tim getting vickered. And that's basically if like anyone gets out of line in the chat, you're going to get vickered. So really fun. We have so much fun here. I love all the people in here.
Same, I aspire to just people to write songs about me. Or maybe not. I don't know.
Now that you've said it, somebody here might do it.
I hope so. I mean, if anyone out there that does it, I know there's several people. Wisdom, I'm looking at you. But there's several people out there that create AI kind of music. They write the lyrics and they feed it in, and they do different like kind of like country or rock or pop or something like that, and it's amazing. I mean, I have the 4 to 5 hour thing, which is just, well, I saw that in Vickers. We have a 5 hours deep song when we hit 5 hours, and it's actually really good. I mean, it's just something like you can groove to. I have another song that I'm going to debut next week. There's some foreshadowing there. I'm not going to do it now, but I'm going to do it next week for somebody that's in the chat. But it's so much fun. So if anyone's out there that likes doing this, please, maybe take some time and write a Spooky Science Sisters song. And
there you go. And then send it to Kenny, and then you can have us on the show again, and we can do the live premiere.
We'll do it. Yeah, we will.
We'll have a custom theme song.
Where for 2 hours, all we do is listen to that song.
Yeah.
We'll give it to you, and we'll be on your show. You debut it.
There you go.
Oh, look, one of Kenny's viewers made this song, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun. All right, let's go. Let's shotgun some of these questions and get you guys out of here. So Creestorm, don't you think that so much attention is put on channels that don't take the paranormal seriously, are looked at, and not those that are really trying to find answers?
Yeah, it sells.
Yeah. That's what's popular, is like suspending your disbelief and just like, not thinking critically about it at all. I think that's like one of my favorite reviews of the book right now. Is I think the end of it, the person said something like, they might sell more books like if they pretended to believe what they talked about.
Right.
And we were like, there could be a better review than that.
Yeah, I know. I was like, exactly. You've understood the entire purpose.
It's so funny. Like, I spend so much time doing this. Like, I'm sure when you do your podcast episodes, it takes a lot of time to research it, you know, to figure out everything that's going on, to dig deep into it, to get all the facts. And if something comes up that you're like, I don't know about this, you have to dig deeper. And I've heard both of you say this, like, I looked this up, I'm not sure about this. I don't know if this is legit or not, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I found it. So and I used this analogy I think last week or the week before, and this is kind of selfish, but I see us as the good guys in a comic book. Okay, so we have to play by the rules. There are rules, there are laws, we have to follow them. But the bad guys are the ones that don't have to play by the rules. They can promote whatever they want. So they can do clickbait, they can scream, they can say everything's a ghost or a demon, and that's what gets the views.
Yeah.
Because they can do whatever they want. And it's sad.
Yeah. Well, and like I'm, connected to people or sort of like mutuals when you both follow each other on Instagram and TikTok with like people who are like paranormal creators, like they do investigation stuff like that. And it's like there are definitely people out there, I think, who are like trying to ask the right questions and like trying to do things like quote unquote the right way, whether or not that really exists. But like I think like you're familiar with like Alex Matsuo. Like I think she takes a really balanced approach a lot of times. So I like really appreciate her content and her way of looking at things. But it's just crazy. Like everything's content. Everything is like, how many views can you get? Like how much controversy can you create and like say wilder and wilder things? And like, I'm convinced like at this point that the whole like Appalachian TikTok thing, like where they're basically like, don't go in the woods, don't look at the trees, like don't do all this stuff. Like there's a tree that's following me. Like it's ridiculous. I think they're just coming up with like more and more insane things to tell people that are like supposedly like things you don't do in Appalachia, and just like seeing what they can get away with. Because like you have people with like 1 million followers and they say these things and like the comments are all like, oh, I reject this energy. Like, I don't want any of this. This is so scary. It's like, all right, guys, This is silly.
All right. And I want to say real quick, just to comment here. Yes, Cat Mac, you are more than an acquaintance. You are a friend. So when I say viewer, I'm just not playing favorites, okay? Tiara girl.
I was gonna say we got the unicorn explanation.
Wait, Kenny, you told me you brought a unicorn to work. I asked you to prove it. You said you would take a picture as proof, but I was shy and vanished every time I said proof it. Oh my goodness. I gotta write this down. Photo of me riding a unicorn. I think I remember this. Okay? Unicorn. You have to understand, everybody knows I drink during the show. So by the end of the show, probably not going to remember what I said.
So you don't remember riding a unicorn to work?
So it's possible. I'm going to go with the conclusion of I don't know. All right. What else we got, Tim? Tim?
Tim's disappeared.
Are you there?
Oh, Tim's got to pee.
Tim heard his theme song and just
I'm
bounced.
going to put it up there. I'm going to put it up. Don't worry. Tim's somewhere around. Okay. Falba was framed. Aren't sleep paralysis demons created by the mind being in that weird space mentally between asleep and awake?
First, Kenny, you gotta watch Wicked because it's Elphaba.
Wait, what did he say?
Right, what is it? Elphaba.
It's Elphaba.
Elphaba.
Mm-hmm.
Elphaba.
It's from Wicked. I'm just being a dick.
I
Sorry.
Here's the thing: if I hadn't seen Wicked, I probably would have said it the exact same way you did. So.
Which character is that?
What's that?
Huh?
Which character is that?
She's the Wicked Witch.
The Wicked.
Like the main character.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what? I watched that film. Here we go. I'm going to skeptic the shit out of this one. All right. I was pissed off that in the beginning, you see Dorothy and the Tin Man and everyone, they're going through the field. They're going back to Munchkinland. Okay. We see that in the beginning of the film. And then that sets it up that it's a flashback.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the Wicked or the Glenda the Good Witch looks exactly the same as she does when we go in the flashback in school. And she's not the older lady, the more mature lady that we see in the original film. I was kind of pissed at that. Took me out.
She's not the right age.
I was done.
Kenny out here trying to skeptic the Wicked movie.
I was done. I was like, this is a flashback.
No.
Why is she the same person? Why was she not like Glenda?
It's a reimagining. You gotta suspend your disbelief.
I can't do it. I hate the Wizard of Oz. I just absolutely hate it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was never a
That's
fan.
it. We're out of here now.
Goes over. Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, sleep paralysis demons. Yeah, basically it's like your brain gets sort of stuck between between REM sleep and wakefulness.
Yeah.
And you your muscles are still like paralyzed, but your brain is technically awake, and just weird stuff because you're kind of like halfway between dreamland and
it usually occurs when you hit rapid eye movement, REM sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You hit that. That's where your dream stage comes in, and for some reason, your mind wakes up. You wake up physically, but your body is still locked. So your body goes into a lockdown basically when you go into REM sleep, because your mind is portraying this vision. You're experiencing life in a dream. So you can walk around, you can do things, you can operate things, whatever you're dreaming about. And to prevent you from lashing out in bed, your body goes on lockdown. So you are essentially paralyzed. So in sleep paralysis, for some reason, your mind wakes up, you become aware of the environment around you, but you are still in lockdown your body is still in lockdown. So you
it's
can't
basically
move.
another hallucination.
Yes. Yeah, because there's a
Everything's
layer of hallucination
hallucinations.
on top of that, where people think they hallucinate a presence in the room, and it could be in bed with them. That's where the succubus and incubus comes from. That's where a lot of alien abduction ideas come from, or experiences come from, because people think there's a presence in the room and they imagine it, and then they either fully awake and it's all gone suddenly, or they go back to sleep and it's just something that they remember experiencing throughout the night. So it's a very frightening thing. My wife is going through it, and she gets upset when I tell the story, because she went through it. I woke up because I heard her whimpering, and I was excited and giddy because I was like, I know what this is.
It's happening.
And I didn't wake her up or anything. I was just like, I'm watching.
Yeah. Is that like a I wonder if that's like a urban myth though, like that you aren't supposed to wake people up?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
to be honest, I was just like, I'm seeing this in real time. I'm not waking her up.
I feel like it would make sense though, right? Because like if you're aware of your surroundings, you kind of think you're awake, but you're hallucinating this other, like,
Right.
I feel like you could get pretty violent.
Yeah.
And it was
I don't know.
I mean, to her, the environment, she was aware of the environment. Like, she was seeing the room, and she thought our dog, like we have a lap dog, like a miniature schnauzer. So it sleeps in the bed with us. And she thought the dog was on the floor, and it had like kind of not jumped up on the bed yet, but put the front paws up on the bed. Like, hey, I want to come up, make room. She felt that, and then she suddenly realized that she felt the dog actually laying on her other side against her body, and that freaked her out, and she was trying to scream.
Yeah.
Like to wake me up.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being
That's terrifying.
An asshole that I was like,
this is great.
That's exactly what I was. I was like, oh, this is fascinating.
Did you get a video?
No, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I didn't have my phone.
That's kind of you.
I mean, I would have, if my phone was there, I would have picked it up and been like, this is great. But then she finally woke up, but there were noises coming from, like, she was going like, like she was trying to scream. I didn't realize that at the time, but she was trying to, and she finally came out of it and woke up and just started crying. Because she was like, holy shit, like and she's looking around, like looking for this creature. So to the person experiencing it is very real.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never experienced it. And I think like a number of years ago, we watched this documentary called The Nightmare, which is like all about people who deal with sleep paralysis and like telling their stories, like what they saw. And they do like these little reenactments and stuff. And it's like, man, that freaked me out so bad. I was like, God, please never. I don't want to deal with that.
I don't
like, I feel like I'll know like immediately after the fact, like, oh, that's what happened. But
right.
It's just
you're still going to deal with the aftermath,
the terror in the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
And then being afraid of it, ever falling asleep again.
Right. That's why I don't go in the ocean anymore. Fuck that. I saw Jaws. Never again. All right. What else we got, Tim? Out there. So, wait, if you drink and forget to take notes, then you are reading the notes from you. You answered your own. Shut up, Tim.
Good point.
Stop correcting me. Oh, Tim's awesome. I love Tim. All right. Sir Pomp, Kenny, ladies, I saw a yogurt pop. Wait, what? Ladies, I saw a yogurt pot rise in the air, float 3 feet across the table, then fall to the floor. Was that a hallucination or was it paranormal activity? Activia. That's funny. All right.
Paranormal activia.
Oh, I think that was a joke. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, if you're not there, you can't make a determination. But all right, moving on. A neurodiverse brain perceives things differently to a neurotypical brain. So may hear things others can't. So may be able to hear stuff others can't in a building and maybe hear a ghost better. I think this was more of a statement than a question here.
Yeah. I mean, I see what they're getting at.
Right.
That like, yeah, there are maybe like people who are, but I mean, that's sort of always the argument with all this stuff. Like, you know, the whole claims of people being mediums or whatever. It's like, oh, they're just more sensitive to like the other side and they can sense things that other people don't. But the idea that some people's brains like work so differently that they could, you know, sense ghosts or whatever. Like, I don't think that's supported by like brain scans and stuff that they've done of people who have neurodivergent brains. There are certainly neurological conditions that people can have that like, again, might make them like more likely to think that paranormal things are happening to them. But yeah.
I would add that the main issue I have with this question or set of questions is that it's invoking an unknown into this scenario. So your ghost is an unknown, and saying that maybe the different kind of brain can hear a ghost better than a normal brain is invoking a complete unknown into the situation. So we can substitute ghost for unicorn, or fairy or dragon or any number of mythological creatures and have the same effect here because it's something that's unknown and not proven to exist at all. Right now, it's a fictional entity that we're inserting into this scenario.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't think necessarily being neurodiverse like gives you any sort of extra sensory powers.
Right. All right, moving on. Wisdom, but you don't know if a spirit or a ghost can penetrate a Faraday cage. Now, if you can catch one, maybe you could test that theory. Okay.
I don't know though. They're like invisible beings that are supposed to be able to like pass through walls and stuff like that. So
Right.
I don't know. But I guess if they're made of energy, then the cage might do it. But I don't know. Then it's just an impossible test. I got nothing.
That feels like a Kenny question.
Yeah,
Oh
I know. You came up with the Faraday cage idea. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying lately, like ghosts are based on the narrative of the storyteller. The rules that apply to ghosts are based on whoever's telling the story. You know, like by definition, a ghost is supposed to be non-corporeal. All right, no physical form, but yet it both defies gravity and refutes it because it can float up and down, but it stays on the planet. It doesn't float away in space as the planet rotates and then goes through space. It doesn't, we should have a trail of ghosts behind the planet. Because gravity should not affect them. It's just a big trail, Ghosts can go through walls and stuff, but then they also knock stuff over. They are often seen, but then not seen.
They can wear clothes, which that one.
One. I mean,
that's why you gotta
poke
for that the ghost when you see it.
Some of the ghosts, I'm happy if they wear ghosts or clothes. I mean, I don't want to see them naked. Yeah, like they can go through doors, but then they knock stuff over. Others can be seen with the naked eye. Others can only be seen in infrared or ultraviolet, and others can't be seen at all. They make noises, they don't make noise. The rules are different for everything. So that's the problem I have with this. They really have to be clearly defined before we can start applying rules to them. So, all right, moving on. I think we're almost done. We are done. I think we are done. I just looked. I think that's all the questions. Awesome. Thank you, Tim. So we're done. Thank you so much for hanging out for an extra half hour. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks for
fun. Yeah, thank you.
Where I know it's on Amazon. Is it anywhere else? Where can people find this book?
Literally anywhere that you buy books, or I'm sure you can request a copy at a lot of libraries as well. But yeah, even if a bookstore like your local bookstore doesn't have it in stock, you can request that they order it. If you don't want to go the Amazon route, but you can also order it Barnes & Noble, Target, various places.
We've also got a bunch of links on our Spooky Science Sisters website. So
yes,
if you go there, you can.
And make sure you feel it, because it's really
embossed. So nice.
just cradle it and just be like, it's so cool.
I was like, if we got anything, at least the book is pretty, right?
And the podcast, how often does it come out? Whenever
supposedly we are a bi-weekly podcast, but with book writing and Paige being in grad school, that sort of got pushed to the side for a little while, but we're hoping to get back closer to that schedule. But I would say more often, like we're looking at like 3 weeks or so between episodes. So we sort of break the cardinal rule of podcasting and aren't good at sticking it to a schedule.
But January of next year, we're hoping to like be back at it bi-weekly. So
yeah, and sort of like start actually banking some episodes so we can get a little ahead of ourselves and not sort of be.
And there is a great back catalog. So
yeah, I'd say there's 94 episodes that exist right now. So you got a lot to go on.
Yeah. And it's definitely worth it. I mean, I enjoy every episode that I listen to, because you girls are you're so much fun and you're full of giggles, and I like the conversation. It's how do I say it? There are some podcasts that I listen to where the conversation feels forced. It's two hosts that just don't mesh, and the two of you do mesh, and it's really good conversation. I do enjoy it. I really do enjoy listening to your podcast, just like I enjoyed reading the book. And I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. It's totally honest. I really do enjoy it. So
thank you. We appreciate that. It's almost like we like each other in real life.
I was gonna say, I appreciate the giggle comment a lot, that you appreciate that, because that is something we have gotten less positive feedback for. Is the amount.
Do not think that is charming, and just do not say nice things about it. And it's like, just tell me you're not fun without telling me.
My thing is like, you don't have to listen to us, so it's fine. But I appreciate
I will say for those people, fuck those people. You show your personality. You do you. And that's what I like about it. It's a good conversation. It's two people that obviously get along, and you have fun with it. You make it funny and entertaining. So if people have a problem with you giggling, fuck them. I don't give a shit.
Really fast, I noticed in the chat someone asked what the podcast was called. I don't think we've said it.
Did we not?
I don't think so. We are the Spooky Science Sisters podcast. So if you're looking for us,
yes,
we're so good at marketing.
But definitely everyone take a listen to it. It's definitely worth it. It's fun, it's entertaining, and you will learn because you guys go through the stories, you explore it. I think that's what it is. It's the discussion format. You don't just jump into, no, it's fake, and I know that's it. You actually go into a discussion and you go detail by detail and discuss it, and it's just fun. I like it. I approve of this message. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. Everyone, please, you guys stick around for after the outro is finished. Stick around for a few minutes if you don't mind. Everyone else, have a great weekend and enjoy yourself. Be safe, and remember, never stop learning. And I'll see you next week. Bye.
Hey, diddle diddle, here's a little riddle. Who's the best debunker? Is it Kenny Biddle? Oh, he's good, not just a little. Not at the bottom or even the middle. Strike a chord like a fiddle. Tasting the rainbow like a skittle. That's fragile and brittle. You can watch him take a problem and start to riddle the problem away. He does not play, he takes his job so seriously. He loves a challenge and won't turn you away. It's such a skeptic, he keeps those believers exposing the fake. It wouldn't take him long to find a needle in hay. Use a magnet, damn it. Now take a drink of candy specialty. Some may say that's not for me. To each their own, what really it will be. Man, Kenny's such a skeptic, drinking skeptical tea. Like and subscribe, everybody, turn notifications on. And go watch his show and forget about this song. Mr. Wizard or Bill Nye the Science Guy, can you remember? You like Kenny better, so head to the Skeptical Help Bar and meet the bartender. Pick up a drink and relax, cause nobody does this better. Not even close, not even a little. He's the one and only Kenny Bill.